Hi everyone, this is Aaron Passantine.
And this is Celia Foster.
We're here to bring to you a series of programming and Returning to Oz, a documentary look at the future of the movie and also behind-the-scenes facts featuring Walt Disney Pictures' wonderful movie, Return to Oz from 1985. So much fun to do these programs here on the internet with our websites and also with Celia Foster. So, Celia, we're going to address a few things today, so what's some of the things we're going to talk about?
Well, I thought that since I had been visiting the Internet Movie Database board on the movie, a lot of people have asked the same questions about the movie, and I just think that we should probably show frequently asked questions.
Right.
Because I want to address some of the frequently asked questions about the movie.
Right. I think that's a great idea. I also actually have something else that I have not put together but have located, and it's a special trivia game quiz on Return to Oz. So today, everyone, you're going to be hearing directly from Celia Foster some answers that I'm going to give her on the show, and we're going to officially see and test her knowledge. So I hope you'll be ready for that today.
Oh, yeah.
Good. I think it'd be exciting for everyone to see if they can actually find out from you. To answer these questions, right. So, here is the first question. The first few of them are true and false. The screenplay is mostly based on the novel The Marvelous Land of Oz. Is that...
Yeah, that one is a question to begin with. A lot of people, it's either 50-50. You know, you got a 50-50 shot.
Right.
At right or wrong. But I will tell you that people have played this quiz.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I made it to where it was kind of tough to begin with, just to see if people read about the movie.
Right.
So they got a 50-50 shot at that answer. But, do you want me to tell you the answer?
Yes, we need to know if it's true or false.
Actually, that one is false.
Okay.
Because most of the screenplay comes from Ozma and Oz.
Oh, I see. Well, I thought it was the other one, too, so I didn't know that answer.
Well, actually, it is loosely based on the Marvelous Land of Oz, but only a few characters and situations actually come from it.
Okay.
But the main story of the gnome scene and the Gorman room and discovering TikTok and Belina actually comes from Ozma.
Okay. All right. Well, the next question was Walter March, was he fired from directing the film?
Again, they've got a 50-50 shot at that.
Yes. So is that?
And anyone who has researched or read my articles on my site would know the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm. So it's false.
Actually, it's true.
Oh?
Yes, because, Disney was not very happy with Walter's overshooting by a couple of weeks or so. And because he wasn't really, he had no experience as a director to begin with. And he fell behind shooting, and they were watching the dailies, and he fell behind by like a week or so. So they actually fired him for about 48 hours.
Oh my, I didn't, okay, I think maybe you might have briefly mentioned this on the other program before.
Yes,
I think you, right, okay. Yeah, I think I remember some of this information. Okay. Now, for the other question that I had to ask, and I think maybe you probably know the answer to this too, Emma Ridley, did she try out for the role of Dorothy?
Well, that's a true-false question again.
That's right.
And anybody who read my site or who did any readings on the film would, again, know the answer to that question. Mm-hmm. And that question is true. She did audition for the part of Dorothy.
Yes. Now, good. Now, this question, you probably are not even going to be able to answer this, but maybe you will. So this is what this is. What year was Walter Murch first approached regarding directing the movie?
Well, again, I did write that question, so yes, I do know the answer to that one.
Okay.
Because of my readings on the film, and he was actually first approached in 1980.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll see if when this goes through if that's correct. If you still remember. Now, you probably still know this question too. Now, how many drafts of the screenplay did he write, including Gil Dennis, go through for coming up with a workable version?
They actually wrote 7 before they came up with the final one. The final one was the 7th.
Okay.
And they had to go through many drafts because when Walter Murch originally wrote the screenplay, it was about 1983.
Yes.
And he originally wrote for many characters to be in this movie, but due to budget cuts and so forth, he had to cut a lot of the screenplay out.
Right. Interesting. Now, this question obviously is a very kind of weird situation as far as the question, but what was the original working title of the film until September of 1984?
Well, this one, if you have done any reading on it, you would know, and actually this is a title of one of the articles on my site that they had written on. The magazine had come out before September of 1984, and it was called The Making of Oz.
Right.
So, the answer to that is Oz.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, see, from the information that you obviously know about from the Internet Movie Database, said that it was also known as Adventures of the Devil from the Sky. And
yes, and I do believe, I don't believe that was actually a working title. I think that somebody just got cute and put that on there because of maybe the opening or something.
Right.
But there's no evidence to prove that that was an actual co-title or working title.
Right. Well, I think it's weird because as a Christian, you know that something like that in a movie doesn't even sound possible, but obviously in this kind of...
I think somebody just, said that it was a co-title, but there's no evidence.
Right, yeah. It's important to have the evidence in for these types of things. So, wow, that's very interesting. That you wanted to address to everyone publicly today on the program, and how about we can bring those forward?
Okay, well, one of the most frequently asked questions that people ask about the movie is that there's a little girl that helps Dorothy escape the Dr. Worley clinic at the beginning of the film.
Right.
And a lot of people are puzzled as to whether, is it Ozma herself, or is it just another patient, or who is that girl? Well, okay, and this, I've done reading, of course, on what I thought that Walter Murch intended to be. But the real conclusion is that I think you're supposed to make up your own mind about who the little girl is.
Right.
Because, in the fifth draft, which I have on my site, and actually, this was actually filmed also, but never made it to the final version. When Dorothy gets back to Kansas and they find her,
right.
Aunt Em and Uncle Henry, when they find her, also looking with Ben, someone, I think maybe Uncle Henry or Aunt Em says, is there any sign of that other one? Meaning, you know, the little girl that rescued Dorothy or whatever.
Right.
And they said, well, no. And then somebody says something like, God rest her soul or something. Meaning that she probably drowned or something.
Yeah.
Which would suggest that she was real.
Right.
Not just a figment of Dorothy's imagination or whatever. But
right.
It didn't make the cut. And so I think that you're supposed to make up your own mind about if you believe that it's truly Ozma, then it's Ozma.
Right.
If you believe that it's a patient from the Lily Clinic.
That's right.
He's a patient.
Right.
It all just depends on how you interpret it.
Exactly, and that's something I was going to say. It really depends. That movie is a very, very good example of that. There's others where when you're done watching it, or a movie like that, it leaves you thinking that you have to draw your own conclusions to the story because, you know, that's how it is. And I think, don't you think that's how the directors wanted it to be like that? Don't you think?
Oh yes. I mean,
okay.
Westmarch intended it for you to draw your own conclusions on what's real or what was not real.
Exactly.
You know, if you believe that Dorothy's dreaming in the movie, then she's probably dreaming. But if you believe Oz is a real place, if Oz is a real place for you, then Oz is real.
That's right, exactly. If I may read something, this is from something of an article that was on before, and I don't know if you have it available, it was somewhere else, that I think, if it's okay with you, I wanted to mention something, because this kind of makes in the essence of the statement of what we try to have here. And the exact statements that they wrote about Disney are almost the exact statements that we have for the site. But this is what this is. In reference to the movie, they have been these people were saying that the prestigious of the studio, which was Disney, was world-renowned for quality family entertainment, you know, much what we're trying to do, with at least with the entertainment part of it. And the 85-year history of the book series, which had inspired it, was really a built-in recognition that was guaranteed by the Universal apparel of the MGM film. And it were all those things together that no one thought could backfire against this production of Return to Oz. And people at Disney were sure that it would sweep the nation, and it had earlier in the century for MGM. But for all of their efforts to put a movie like this together, it honestly didn't catch on because it was just more so remembering as adults, remembering being fantasized by the movies as children. And I don't know, I think, you think so?
There were several reasons to me why it failed in the U.S.
Right, yeah. And another thing is, I have this information saying that Disney obviously was not happy with the outcome to the production because apparently, as it says on here, they sold the rights to a smaller company that something Disney does not only do on extreme rare occasions, and it said that they had denied when asked at both Disneyland and various Disney stores that the film was actually a Walt Disney production. And basically ends up saying, although it would have never followed that Disney had hoped for, Return to Oz actually was eventually able to find something in regards to the American culture that it intended to all along, and that some people hate it, some people love it, and as long as it's remembered, and good or bad, it has really served a purpose. And do you believe it like that, I hope?
Well, okay. Again, some people, I think that, the executives at Disney at the time, who were Jeffrey Katzenberg and Michael Eisner.
Right.
When it was coming out, I don't know if they just didn't really watch the movie or whatever, but they were responsible for some reason for the original trailers and the TV spots, and they decided that it should be marketed to a young children audience, which, you know, when people got there and saw the movie, there are some scenes in it that are kind of, you know, dark and scary for intended, well, I don't think Welcome March intended it to be sort of a little children's film.
Right.
I think it was more toward the older children and the actual, he was targeting actual fans of Elephant Bomb at the time.
Right.
And it just, Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, I mean, the executive producer Gary Kurtz argued that the Katzenberg-Eisner team really, I mean, they didn't really see the movie, and there were a lot of movies coming out from Disney at the time. There was The Black Cauldron was also coming out at the time,
Exactly.
and they really had their hands full with all of that.
Oh, yes.
So they didn't market it correctly, and it was marketed sort of as a general children's film. And of course, that was very hurtful to the film.
Right. That's so interesting. I think another thing everyone would want to know, that when the movie had premiered, obviously it was at Radio City Music Hall, which you know, but it had appeared in the UK, and the royal family had attended, and had its very own float in Disneyland's Main Street Electrical Light Parade. And this float actually ended up burning down more than half of the parade when the sunlight actually had caught off one of its many mirrors, and a warning sign for Disney of that disaster honestly was soon to come, because when it finally was released in the public, it, obviously caused problems, and people were not all too excited about it in the U.S., as you know. So, did you,
Yes,
no.
I actually did hear that the float did burn down in 1986.
Right, okay.
I didn't know that it was caused by the mirrors on the float.
Exactly, yeah.
That's something new, but if you want to, I'm not really that superstitious. You can interpret that as a bad omen.
Yeah.
For
right.
things, but
Exactly.
I really don't think it has
No.
anything to do with good or bad.
Yeah, probably not. I don't think it had anything to do good or bad, but I do know, I think it's very weird that they said it was the mirrors that caused that thing to collapse and burn,
Right.
because of the mirrors in the movie, and, that makes it strange. But
Right, would it justify it with it was an accident?
Right, it was an accident. It was a complete accident, and no one knew. And so, obviously, people that saw it knew, but I do know that, and most people that have logic enough minds can understand that when it's outside and the sun's out and it's bright, and you take a mirror and you put that mirror out by the sun, eventually it's going to start shining off and catch fire. There's a certain, some kind of thing going with the sunlight. So, but anyways, I think something else you might want to know about is that there's something you may want to know about how Return to Oz actually had compared to recent Disney movies, and this is something maybe if you knew. Return to Oz, the domestic gross income was $9 million, the international income was $7 million, and the total gross income from everything was $16 million, and this would be compared to the Dinosaur movie that was released in 2000. Their domestic gross was $130 million, then international was $9 million, and then their total was $220 million. So that just goes to show you, think how much things have changed in all those years.
Right. Well, again, most people tend to forget that actually, I did research on this.
Oh, okay.
And most people tend to forget that the summer of 1985 was a dismal summer for every movie that came out.
Right.
In 1985.
Mm-hmm.
The movie that did the best in the summer of 1985 was actually Back to the Future.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yes, but again, the box office returns for most movies in the summer of 85 was absolutely dismal. I have no idea why the American public didn't go see movies as much as the studios would have hoped to. I don't know why, but actually the whole summer for a lot of companies was actually, they hoped for big box office returns, but instead they didn't get it.
Right. Huh. Wow. I think another thing that should be said is that really in the mid '80s, the Walt Disney Corporation, and I'm actually reading this information, has, from what I have this information to say, that they were very powerful and that they actually had a lot of money back then, but they still hadn't reached the point when nearly all the films they released are really accepted to be a success. And Disney actually had high hopes set on this film, and hopefully you can back it up. And
yes, they had very high expectations. It was Return to Oz was probably, I say this tentatively, I need to do more research on it, but it was, they had spent probably the most money that they had spent in the last year, which was 1984 on the production budget. They probably spent more money on that than any other movie.
Right. And then something else to say, that it was actually given a $27 million budget and had received news and print media from all around the world. And then I think there was a casting issue for The Perfect Dorothy for the book series, and then it had sold successfully, obviously. But then there was something else that I think was very, very strange that I think maybe you may know about. But as soon as production had begun in England, problem after problem had occurred, and Walter Murch had really not much of an understanding of an effort that went into directing a movie. I have this information. And then soon, right after that, he had a nervous breakdown. Is that right?
Yeah, that is true, yes.
Okay.
Because Disney had just fired him.
Okay, so that's when that happened. I see.
They were very disappointed in the dailies and the overall progress of the film. And they fired him, and they were going to shelve the project because no one was interested in picking it up at the time. So they said they fired him, and yes, he suffered a nervous breakdown. He was very depressed.
Wow. Now, was that mainly on the light of the movie situation, you think? Just that alone?
Well, I mean, he had great expectations for himself as a director. He always wanted to do this, and they had given him, the assurance that they could pull this off, and he had an experienced team with him. But, again, I think that his lack of experience kind of contributed to it.
Right.
It was a very, very hard picture because it was very complicated.
Right.
With all the visuals that went into it, with all the detail. Executive producer Gary Kurtz was quoted as saying that he wished that Walter had done some smaller films before. Just to get the experience.
Right.
Of directing. But this was a huge project, and he was assigned to it, and Disney decided that he wasn't really delivering at the time.
Yeah.
So they fired him, and he was very depressed about it.
Wow. It's amazing, this information. I hope everyone is really, really interested and intently listening. I think today, Celia, that we have given a lot of inside information, that even more so than some of the other programs. Do you think possibly?
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
I don't think that anybody should hear this anywhere else.
You're right.
Well, it's my pleasure to bring you this information that I've studied for so long. I've been a collector of this and fan of this film since I was 6, and I really had the really golden opportunity to research it thoroughly when I was 16, and it's really my pleasure to talk about this and to sort of put any rumors that this film had previously to rest.
Yes, absolutely. I think I should mention this. As far as these shows are concerned, a few months ago, Celia Foster and myself had mention to everybody that we are actually going to have a final show coming and have a lot of special guests on. There have been over 1,000 people who have gone to these programs alone and downloaded things, and which is excellent, and so many international listeners. So I don't see us finishing in a few weeks, but Steele, if you could mention one or two of the people actually that we are really going to see about having on. I know we before had mentioned a few other people that were going to be on, and we haven't done anything about that yet, but what you mentioned about that.
Okay, I wanted to get my friend Dexter Fabi on. He actually, when we had the show, the Oz convention in 2005 that was in actually Lisle, Illinois, at the Lisle Hyatt, he actually organized that and put everything together. And I think it would be very enlightening and fun to actually put him on and talk about that convention and the experience of having Will Benton there and the dialogue between fans and My Heart Robbie.
Oh yes.
Was also there, which was very, very, very interesting and very, very. I mean, it was an unexpected delight for me to actually ask him questions. And I'm trying to get my friend Doug Averly on, who showed me marvelous insider information on the film.
So we thank you all very much for listening and downloading these shows.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Well, this has been Aaron Passantine.
And this has been Celia Foster with ReturnToOzTheMovie.com.
Thank you for listening. Jamie was on for one of our Returning to Oz programs that is hosted by my website and also with Celia Foster. And Jamie's here as a special extra feature to our 9th Return to Oz program, and he's going to give some information. And first off, he wants to say hello to a good friend of mine named Paul. And Paul, you know that obviously you're up in New York, and I want you to mention, actually, Jamie, if you can mention that a few comments that you want to say to Paul.
Hi, Paul. I hope everything's okay. This is a message from me saying it really brings pleasure to hear that you enjoyed my comments on Return to Oz. And also, I just want to thank people like Aaron Schultz, Celia Foster, Aaron Passantine, because it is people like you who are keeping the memories of this movie alive, and the fact that it is a really, really good film. So my hat is well and truly off to you both, to all of you.
Oh, well, that's a very, very nice thing to say, Jamie. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I know Celia does, and I know Aaron Schultz does, too. So that's very kind. And we all appreciate you for your help, because you're far, far away, all the way in the United Kingdom, which is farther than any of us. And so I appreciate what you've said about that.
Farther than Oz.
What?
It's even farther than Oz.
That's right. Farther than Oz. Now, since this is an extra little program feature for our 9th program of Return to Oz, I think it'd be great for you to mention some inside information that we always tend to give on these programs on the show about Return to Oz. And so please give everybody some comments directly from the United Kingdom.
Well, I just want to say that I think I've already glossed over some of these comments on one of the shows that I did way back a few months ago. I just want to say that even though the film wasn't that really critical success, although I think here in the UK it does have a very, very small cult following. Like, people have such fond memories about the film and the fact that they were scared by it and that it has affected them so much. But that could never compare to the whole cult following I think that it might possibly have in the US. Because it is an American story, it's not an English story, much like the Narnia stories are.
Right. That's interesting. I think something that you should mention, and I think I don't know if I spoke to you about it before, but Celia and myself and Aaron Schultz have spoke about this before. There is a book that is in the UK that actually was published in the UK about Return to Oz, and Celia has the copy now. Aaron has a copy now. I don't have the copy yet. I'll get one sometime soon. But I think it'd be great for you to tell everybody about that book because I think you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yes, The World of Oz by
Yes.
Alan Isles.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's a very interesting book to read if you want to. Well, it basically came out to commemorate the fact that Return to Oz would just come out with the cinemas. It also features a lot of pictures of the Oz characters as drawn by John Arnell. Also, they feature pictures from the coronation sequence, which of course features lots and lots of Oz characters from the books.
Wow. I think, can you tell everybody, is there a publisher now that's in the UK that is actually publishing that book, or in the UK, is it still published?
No, it isn't still published, but you can still buy it as a used book on either Amazon.co.uk or Amazon.com.
Right. Okay. Well, that's great. And I think it'd be great if we can have the clear information from you for everybody. What exactly is the author's name again?
It's Alan Ailes, which is ALLEN.
Okay.
AYLES.
Okay. All right. Well, great. And what year was it published? 1985?
1985, yes, 1985, because it was brought out to commemorate the film.
Right. And who published the book?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I can have a look.
Right. Okay. You have it with you right now?
No, I don't. I can check on the website. Amazon.
Okay. Well, sure. And we'll be looking at it too. So I will be checking it out also. All right. Well, great. Thank you. Do you have any more information that you want to share with everybody, since it's probably been 5-something programs I've done with Celia since you were last on, and I think it'd be great if you want to have a little few other comments to share to everybody, or maybe you want to say something else to also to Paul.
Just something coming back to the World of Oz book. It was published by Penguin Books.
Okay.
It's available in either paperback or hardcover.
Okay. Wonderful. That's very, very interesting to hear that information, so thank you for telling us that. Now, I should mention to everybody that Celia Foster and myself are going to be hosting a live Wizard of Oz call-in for our Return to Oz program show. And hopefully it will be for our 10th program to commemorate the 10th program. We will get to do this. And Jamie very much knows about this already. I'm the one that set it up with Celia, so I know. And Aaron Schultz already knows. And so we are planning to do that very soon. And I wanted to tell all of you, since there are many of you that listen to our Return to Oz show that are outside the U.S., if you have questions for us, please email them to me. And my address, videosforfamily@AOL.com, is on the website. And any of you that are listening that are members of the National Wizard of Oz Club or fans here in the U.S., please contact me, and I will give you the number and the information on how to reach me, and you can call in, and we can make the arrangements for you to be on the show live. But again, for any of you outside the U.S. That are wanting to call, or those of you that also are outside of Canada that want to call, please contact me, and you give me your questions, and we will answer those questions live on the program, and it'll be great. But to everyone in the U.S., we'll have those people live call in through the phone, which will be exciting. And for Jamie, it's fun for him because he's on through the internet, through the talk feature on an internet program. And with him, we're able to record these shows together and have him give his wonderful, great insight for our special feature that we have right now for our 9th program that you're listening to.
Yes, that's right. I do have one final question to ask.
Yes.
There was a website I remember looking at, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was about a Land of Oz theme park, which was blueprinted, but I never heard anything further about it. I was wondering if you could, tell me a bit of information on that.
Oh, yes. That's something very important I think everyone would want to know. There's 2, actually, to 3 of those ones. There is one that is in Banner Elk, North Carolina. It's in Beach Mountain. That's all in North Carolina. And it was called the Land of Oz Park. And it was opened in the 1970s for many years. And then after several years went by, some people came in and started to destroy the park and mess it up. And it had to close. Well, a few years ago, the park opened up, and it's opened every first weekend in October. And I've gotten to go down up over there for the past few years and be involved in the park and work there. And I'm probably going to be getting to go back in a few months. So that's one park. And information about that park can all be found on my website. Everyone can see that there. Sean Barrett, he's very much involved with that. I think you remember Sean, Jamie, right?
Yes.
Right. That's right.
Sean.
Yes, Sean's a very, very nice guy. And he is one of their official scarecrows for the park. And he's on the website, too, and has some information for everybody on that. So he's a great person. I'm very good friends with him. I talk to him around every week. Also, to rest about the park information for everybody and for you to know, there was another park, actually, that was going to put on by Warner Brothers. It was with Turner Entertainment, actually, was the ones to put it on. And this park was going to be a big amusement park, and they had beautiful pictures that were put together and painted for the park, and these pictures were put in one of the issues of the Bomb Bugle, which is the magazine for the International Lacrosse Club. But sadly, that park never happened. They never built it, and it's not going to be going on probably. But currently, there has been put together by Oz Central, which is up and also in New York and somewhat in Kentucky, to be a beautiful, huge Wizard of Oz theme park. And plans are being made. It's going to be set, and it's going to be exclusively featured only on the books. And Richard Birch is the president of Oz Central, which is the company, and he has endorsed the videosforfamily.com website, and he has also given onto information about this park and what they're going to do. And this park is going to have immersed interactive exhibits. It's going to be beautiful. It's to be known to be said that when you go to this park, once it's completed, it's to take visitors to be transported to the Land of Oz, and it's going to have it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a special winged monkey flying ride there.
No, I have to have a look at the website because it sounds incredible.
Yes, it is. It's amazing. It's something that you'll want to travel to the United States to see sometime when they finish the park. I'm sure you would. So,
definitely.
Yes. Okay, I think as we're about done with this for now, do you have some other information that you can share with everybody?
Basically, I'd just like to say thank you for having me. It's been an experience being able to talk with you about this film, which means so much to me. And basically, just thank you. And Paul, you'll be hearing from me again very, very soon.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yes, Paul, and you'll be hearing from me very soon too. And we appreciate Jamie here on the show, and it's great to have him back in, and it's been much fun. This is Aaron Passantine.
And this is Jamie Dodds.
Thank you for listening.